By now, you probably heard President Trump say that Iran has asked for a ceasefire. Well, there has been some back and forth on both sides of what that actually means. We have multiple strikes inside Iran and around the region, which we are also going to take a look at how this conflict is still unfolding and where it might be going. So first, starting with President Trump, who tweeted this just yesterday, saying Iran's new regime president, which that's interesting phrasing, right? New regime president, not even call him the new president, much less radicalized and far more intelligent than his predecessors, has just asked the United States of America for a ceasefire. We will consider this when the Strait of Hormuz is open, free, and clear. Until then, we are blasting Iran into oblivion, or as they say, back to the Stone Ages. But to put that in perspective, the supreme leader, the Ayatollah of Iran, the one that we haven't seen since he was elected at the beginning, week one, when everyone else was taken off the table, he came back and released a statement, or at least someone released a statement on his behalf, saying, I empathetically declare that the consistent policy of the Islamic Republic of Iran, following on the path of Imam Khomeini and martyred leader, is continue supporting the resistance against the Zionist U.S. enemy. So we go from the supreme leader to the foreign minister, who says they're not seeking a ceasefire with the U.S. and Israel, but a complete end to the war across the region, with guarantees against future attacks and compensation for damages. So it does not appear that Iran is asking for a ceasefire. Maybe there are back channels where they're trying to scramble to get this done, but President Trump last night then spoke to the nation, and this is part of his address.
So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before, should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the strait and just take it, protect it, use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done, so it should be easy. And in any event, when this conflict is over, the strait will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally. They're going to want to be able to sell oil because that's all they have to try and rebuild. It will.
So there you have the president basically saying that the Strait of Hormuz is going to solve itself. So again, that's just following the ceasefire tweet that he put out yesterday. So how this one plays out, that is anyone's guess. But he did go to say in that speech that thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all military objectives for America shortly, very shortly. We are going to hit Iran extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We are going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions will be ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred. So that is kind of the laydown of the last 24, 36 hours. Interesting, to say the least, when it comes to this piece. Now, we do have a couple players who have entered the mix. The Houthis in Yemen have conducted strikes against Israel. The choke point of the Red Sea is one we have not seen clamped down on. We saw this last year and it delved into Operation Rough Rider. We had our forces going after Houthis who were shutting down the Red Sea. Now about 20 million barrels or so of oil used to transit the Strait of Hormuz every single day. That Red Sea sees about 4.3 million barrels of oil that transit through that corridor each and every day. So again, if this becomes more involved in the conflict and the Houthis try to shut down the Red Sea, this is going to be more complicated. Now, plane spotters have seen A-10s moving from the U.S. through England into the region. So 12 Michigan Air National Guard A-10s have been seen transiting to the Middle East. More A-10s, a great role when it comes to countering threats inside the Strait of Hormuz and opening that up. Again, it's not the end all be all, but when it comes to going after targets that are threatening the Strait of Hormuz, eventually the Red Sea, the A-10 is one of those platforms in conjunction with other platforms like the F-16 and the F-15E Strike Eagle that you might see be utilized, opening up those critical waterways and ensuring the free flow of navigation in those regions. Now, another wrinkle to this would be Chechnya. They have declared that they will enter the conflict if the U.S. puts boots on the ground. Now, as far as their capability to deploy massive forces to the region, TBD, right? That's a big ask, but we have seen Chechen fighters involved in all the Middle Eastern conflicts over the years. So again, just one more wrinkle when it comes to how this conflict is just ensnarling a lot of players when it comes to it. Now, massive explosions have been seen in and around Isfahan. over the last 24 hours. The assumptions are these are bunker buster bombs, which we have seen B-52s, more B-1s flowing to the region. B-52s with loadouts with GBU-31s, 2,000-pound bunker buster bombs loadout. We've done a video on the GBU-72, that new 5,000-pound bunker buster bomb that's been utilized. Supposedly these are underground missile and drone storage facilities. To these. So a lot of secondaries. There's definitely a lot of things that go boom inside of that. But Tyler Rogway from the War Zone, they put this out, Iran unveiling underground bases for fighter jets, saying they're still in existence. Now, we know that they've had underground bases. Clearly, that's what we're about. Obviously, any Raptor, any fighter pilot out there would just love for an Iranian F-4 to take off into the sky. So I don't assess too much of a threat here when we come to their Air Force. They've just been absolutely hammered and decimated. But you can see, if we watch this video, just how elaborate this structure is. We're only getting bits and pieces of it, right? So maybe this is a relatively small thing, but supposedly hundreds of meters underground inside of a mountain, which can make it very challenging. The engineering that goes into something like this is impressive and not something to be scoffed, in my opinion. You take this engineering, you take this technology, and this doesn't look like AI. We obviously know AI is a thing, and you're only seeing 2 F-4s that are in this picture here. So, I mean, how much of a threat is it? How much of a capability is it really? You know, TBD, but we're obviously using a lot of bunker buster bombs. We've seen this utilized. We know Iran has this, and this is the capability. And this is the one, like, cleaning up these items is going to be challenging. You stuff a tunnel full of Shahed 136 drones or whatever drones, ballistic missiles that give them the capability to just constantly be throwing gnats that is tough to swat out of the sky. It makes this challenging. So far in this conflict, the United States has shot 2,400 Patriot missile interceptors. That's just in 31 days or so. We replenish that at a rate of 650 per year. Now, there obviously is a lot of discussion with industry to up the production, but at some point, like, you just can't rebuild that overnight, no matter how much you try. We put out a newsletter talking about some of the aspects that honestly I didn't really think about too much until recently. When it comes to the raw material, all these missiles, all these weapons require raw material. Where do those raw materials come from? A lot of them are precious metals that we don't necessarily produce inside the United States, that come from countries like China or places where they're not necessarily just going to hand over all their precious metals without getting something. So this thing, obviously, it's a little bit to digest. There's a lot of moving pieces when it goes to it. So I would be curious to get your thoughts. Again, we now have tripped into month 2 of this conflict, but this is a missile attack, which the copy on the image here has an Iranian attack March 2026 on a base in Jordan. Several bases in Jordan, home to my last deployment. So it's interesting to watch this pan out. So we'll watch 2 videos that come from this. So we see multiple missiles going overhead. Some, I don't think actually are intercepted in this. No casualties have been reported from this attack as of yet. But let's watch this impact here. I mean, that hit, I have another perspective here of an impact. I don't believe it's the same one, but watch this one. I mean, that's obviously no joke. It's killed service members, it's injured service members up until this point, and I would not want to be on the receiving end of that. I don't know if this is from Jordan. These came about the same time, but obviously you can see the end result is the same. You don't want to be on the receiving end of that. So Iran is still continuing to lash out. They still have that capability as the U.S. and Israelis try, and Gulf countries again try to push back Iran's capability from doing it. So it doesn't look like it's going away just yet. And if we look at all the things when it comes to their basing and the strikes we're still having to go out at week 4, they still have a little bit of ability to reach out and punch. That's all I have for today. So let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you next time.